Hello everyone, and welcome to Love in the Pot. I'm so happy you can join me today in my kitchen as I will demonstrate how to fabricate large fruit. I have a big watermelon as well as a pineapple and a mango, and I'm working with what I have. You should always be flexible when you approach recipes or concepts. The main thing to get out of it is the method. If you apply the proper method and you learn how to do it well, you'll be able to utilize that in other aspects and thus have more control in your kitchen. So I hope this will motivate you to do more prep on your own. You will save money and pay less for the prefabricated fruit because you'll get more. You'll get more yield for the price. So, as you know, we are beginning our Eat to Live segment where I am featuring healthy, lighter variations of things, and I'll be doing detoxing concoctions as well as hydrating solutions. So here's a nod to that because of course you're gonna need to prep your fruit. If you watched my how to make spa water video, you would recall that I made a little jar of spa water for my husband, and I made mention that I do big pictures all the time. So in all honesty, I make these things twice a week to hydrate off of and detoxify my body, and I do different blends, and sometimes I just simply use what I have. So I will also do a variation of that today, again working with what I have, but of course you could do recipes or blends that are specific to your needs. So here we go. I am here already with clean hands. I have my board, I have my fruit. I've rinsed them in cold water as well as soaked them for about 5 minutes in a water and vinegar solution to kill any potential bacteria that's on the skin. So make sure you wash them thoroughly because the skin can carry bacteria. So as we begin, when I'm cleaning large fruit, I actually prefer to use a serrated or bread knife. This is slightly more flexible and it will give you a little bit more control going around the body of the fruit. Chef's tip, put a cabinet liner mat underneath your cutting board and it will help to stabilize it so it doesn't spot so much. I'm going to start with the less messy item, which is our pineapple. Now you could twist here, and here's where the seeds and things are. You can actually plant this and grow this. It'll probably take like 3 to 5 years to actually get a good pineapple plant, but you can grow your own in time. So I have 5 going. I don't need that. Just wanted to show you. Now as we start, we are going to cut off the top and the bottom. Remember, when we're cutting, we always curl our fingers. You should hold the knife that you write with, and you should grip with your less dominant hand. So curling my fingers, I'm gonna cut off the top. And at this stage, it doesn't have to be perfect because we will clean it up again. Cut off the bottom, that'll stabilize it. I also have my handy dandy trash bag. And now, what we're gonna do here is kind of guide the knife behind the greenery and the eyes, and we'll go in a curving motion to avoid taking so much flesh, but at the same time we will make faster work of it. So here we go, curving down and sawing. And this first round doesn't have to be perfect. I prefer to do it twice instead of doing it once and taking off a whole lot of the yummy pineapple flesh. And when I get to my spa water, you will see why I prefer to do it this way. Remember, take your time. Make sure your board is dry. If your pineapple is very juicy, stop. Wipe down and keep it safe. All right, first layer off. Now, this time around, I'm actually going to rinse my pineapple, rinse my knife, and wipe my board because I want to use the trim from this part in my spa water pitcher. I already have that ready to go, so I'll just be adding things to it as we cut, patting it dry so it doesn't leave all that water on the board and make it slippery. So we flip it over, and I'm just going to do like a little ring motion to catch that outer skin that I missed. And watch out for your hand. Now we will actually begin to try to get behind. You want to move behind the little nodules and cut a nice thin slice, only where you need to get the extra brown stuff off. If I won't waste it, I will either put it in the spa water pitcher or save it for juicing. Don't be tempted to take too much of the fruit. Make your cut and you rotate and you just continue. And those little bitty pieces I will not put in my water because it will make the spout clog. Now I flipped it so we could get the ones we weren't able to reach at the bottom. Now this won't be the prettiest spa water, but it sure does taste good and it decreases waste because I'm using those scraps and I don't feel too bad about cleaning my pineapple up. Cleaning our board up. I'm gonna rinse my knife for later. The serrated knife to the side, we will be using it with the watermelon. But for now, I'm going to move to my chef's knife. And you could certainly continue this process with the serrated knife. Already sharp and ready. First thing I'm gonna do is cut it in half. Still curling my fingers, and I'm kind of like clawing into it so it's stable. And if it's a little uneven, it's fine. I have my 2 halves. I'm going to break them down to quarters. Now, we're going to take each quarter and kind of hold it at an angle. And if you look very closely, you can see this fibrous part in the center here. What I'm going to do is bring my knife in and show you from here. At an angle, right behind the nub, and cut in at about a 45-degree angle to remove the core. See? Cut off that brown edge, and if I went too deep into the flesh, I'll cut the trimmings off of the sides, put the stick inside my water pitcher, and repeat the process. If you left any green pieces like that, you can also go in the pitcher. When you do cut fruit like this, it should last at least 3 days, especially depending on the condition of the fruit when you bought it, as well as how well you handled it, how clean was your station, how clean were your hands, did you cross-contaminate. All those things affect how long your fruit will last. But you can count on 3 days. That's typically the case. So I'm making nice thick planks because they last a little longer. The juice doesn't break it down so fast, because as it sits in the container, it will sit in the juice. Okay, I'm sliding my knife under and lifting on top of the fruit. I'm not making a fancy tray. I am just cutting fruit for the family. Fruit number 2. So now I'm just going to do a quick wipe on my board to get that juice so it doesn't get too slick. We will pretty much apply the same concept to our watermelon. Now, we will flip it carefully, okay, and we are also getting the excess pieces from the bottom that we couldn't see, and we're going to do a cleaner trim. This is perfect to save for juicing. And I'm going to switch back to my chef's knife. Now this is very large, so turn it down on its side. I'm going to cut it in half first. I like to cut my watermelon in big chunks, but you can cut it however you choose at this point. I just find that when they're larger, they last longer. Continue until the process is complete. Wow, that's a lot of watermelon. So with the mango, once again, same concept, it's just smaller. So I'm gonna take a little off. Take a little bitty nib off the top. Now it can stand without rolling, and you could totally do this with a paring knife, but I just prefer not to bother dirtying up another knife. So same concept, I'm gonna aim to go behind the green and just curve around the fruit to remove the skin. Watch your fingers and your knuckles might be slippery. Okay, it's totally cleaned up. When you're cutting a mango, you know it has a big pit in the center. One side, the pit is plumper or expands out farther than the other, so you never know exactly which side that's going to do it to. So I just try to like aim, like my aim is like on either side, maybe of a ½ an inch from the center, and I'm gonna just glide down. If it gave me some resistance, I would come back up and hop back a little. We're heat on the same side. Oh, see, I got some resistance, so I'm gonna come forward some. No resistance. Now I'm not gonna waste all this beautiful fruit. I'm just gonna curve around that pit and try to get all I can, kind of clawing my fingers into the flesh of the fruit because it's very juicy and slippery. And remember, safety first. It's pretty clean. You can gnaw on it. You can throw it in your spa water. You can sprout it to try to grow it. So, of course, we have all these little scraps. They don't look very pretty. You could certainly just eat them or chop them up in a nice dice. Make a yogurt parfait, and these will be delicious in there, or you could just eat it by itself. But for my nice big chunky pieces, I'm gonna make nice cuts out of that. You can make strips, but I'm going for nice chunky dices. This, I'll make some overnight oats, and that can go in my overnight oat cup, and this can be added to my fruit container. See? I happen to have a little piece of grapefruit left. I'm gonna slice that. I also have enough ginger. Let me show you how to peel that with a spoon. So I have a regular heating teaspoon, and what we're gonna do is just use the tip, holding the spoon like this with the thumb in the middle, and just scrape the skin off. I will come back with my finished product. I am going to add a few slices of this ginger to my spa water, as well as some fresh mint. Thank you so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I hope that you will be able to come back in the future, like, subscribe, share, and join me to make other recipes to hopefully put love in your pot. So I hope this was helpful. And also, shout out to my little editor, M1 Champion of Justice. Please go to his page, subscribe, like, and all that jazz. Thank you, and have a great day.